Hello students, my name is Fancy. I am the assistant professor in the Department of Physics, Sacred Heart College, Chalakudi. Today, I am going to discuss about the transistor biasing, which is a topic in the electronic course in the 5th semester of BSc Physics offered by Calicut University. So, the transistor biasing circuits are discussed by referring the text Principles of Electronics by V.K. Mehta.
Here is our today's topic, methods of transistor biasing. What do you mean by the word biasing? In electronics, biasing is the setting of initial operating conditions of an active device in an amplifier. So we are going to discuss in detail about different types of or different methods of transistor biasing. So commonly used methods of transistor biasing are base resistor method, emitter bias method, biasing with collector feedback resistor, and voltage divider bias. So we discussed about biasing. We already see two types of or two methods of biasing. First one is using bias battery and second one is using biasing circuits. So these methods are the biasing circuits. So what are the advantages of using biasing circuits? Biasing circuits are used in case of simplicity. So if we need simplicity in our circuit, it is desirable that we should use biasing circuit. The biasing circuit should have a single source of supply. So please note that we need only one source of supply in biasing circuits. So it is one of the advantages of this circuit. So it is represented as VCC. We only need a single source of supply in the output circuit, that is VCC. So this is one of the advantage of biasing circuit. So in all these four methods, we are using the same principle. So the principle is that the required value of base current IB and hence IC is obtained from VCC in zero signal conditions. That means the principle employed in these four methods. We first find IB, then we know that beta is equal to IC by IB. So now by knowing beta and IB, we will get IC. So this is the usual method. So the principle is that using VCC, that means this power supply, knowing the VCC, we can find IB and IC. So this is the basic principle involved in transistor biasing. So in all these cases, we can select or choose the value of load resistor RC by keeping in mind the rules of transistor biasing. The transistor biasing essentials are: first one, proper zero signal collector current IC, and second one, proper minimum VCE at any instant. What do you mean by proper minimum VCE? That means the value of VCE should not fall below 0.5 volt for germanium transistors and 1 volt for silicon transistors. So these two conditions are there are three conditions. Third one is the stabilization. So these 3 points should be kept in mind while doing or while designing a biasing circuit. These are the essentials of transistor biasing. So today we are going to discuss in detail about base resistor method. So what do we mean by base resistor method, and what is the circuit diagram of this method? We are going to discuss in detail about this method. So base resistor method. Here you can see the circuit diagram. So note that we are using only one power supply, that is plus VCC in the output circuit. This power supply is common to both circuits. So in this method we are using a high resistance RB. So RB is the high resistance, usually in the range of mega ohm. So we are using a high resistance RB. It is connected between base and positive end. So this is the base and this is the positive end. So we are connecting a high resistance RB in between base and positive end of power supply of an NPN transistor, and between base and negative end of supply for a PNP transistor. So this is the case of an NPN transistor. If we are using a PNP transistor, this is a negative end, then negative end, and between negative end and base end we will connect a high resistance. So here the required signal, the required zero signal base current IB is provided by VCC and it flows through RB. So this is the base current IB. Since we are not applying any signal here, this is no signal condition, that means zero signal condition. So in the zero signal condition, plus VCC, that means VCC gives IB or base current and it flows through RB. Base is positive with respect to emitter. This is an NPN transistor. So base B is positive and N is negative. So base is positive with respect to emitter. So that means this end is positive and this end is positive. So that means this is a forward biased condition. That means the input circuit or base emitter junction is always forward biased. Now we can find out the required value of IB and IC by properly selecting the value of base resistor RB. So RB is known as base resistor. So that's why this method is known as base resistor method. So in the base resistor method, biasing is provided by properly selecting a high resistor known as base resistor in between the power supply and base. So let's go through the circuit analysis. So what is the circuit analysis? Let's see the circuit. We have to find the value of RB. So first we have to find the value of RB. Then we know the required collector current. Let IC be the required zero signal collector current. So knowing the value of IC, we will get IB. IB is equal to IC by beta. So to obtain RB, we have to apply Kirchhoff's voltage law in the closed circuit. So let's see the circuit. Let's see the circuit A, B, E, N, A. Consider the loop A, B, E, N, A. You should keep in mind that this polarity is plus VCC. It means that these two ends are not open. It just only means that this end is connected to a battery of plus VCC and this end is grounded. We are drawing in this way for simplicity. So if these two ends are open, does not mean that there is no power supply in between that. This plus VCC means that the positive end is connected to the battery, or there is a power supply here in between collector and emitter. So this end is always grounded. So this is the circuit. Applying Kirchhoff's voltage law in the loop ABENA, what is the value of, or what is the equation? Here the voltage source is VCC. So the voltage source is VCC. So voltage source VCC is equal to, we are using this loop. So what is the voltage drop across this resistor? It is IBRB. Now the loop is going in this way. So there is a potential difference between B and E, that is known as VBE. So this is the equation, circuit equation using Kirchhoff's voltage law. So from this equation we can find RB. So let's write our equation applying KVL in the loop ABENA. We will get VCC is equal to IBRB plus VBE. So from this we get IBRB is equal to VCC minus VBE. So from that we will get RB is equal to VCC minus VBE by IB. So this is the equation of RB. So knowing VCC and VBE and IB, we can find RB. We know that VCC is known because VCC is the power supply. VB is the voltage between base and emitter, which we will get from the transistor manual, because base emitter voltage is fixed for a transistor. So we will get the value of VBE. Now IB is selected by us. That means we can properly choose, or we can choose any value of IB. Suppose we can choose 10 microampere or 100 microampere like that. So we are choosing the value of IB to set the value of RB. So we will get, knowing the value of VCC, IB and VBE, we can find the value of RB. So let this be equation 1. Since VBE is very small compared to VCC, so we can say that since VBE is very less than VCC, we know that the value of VBE is almost 0.3 volt or 0.5 volt, and VCC is almost generally in practical cases it will be 12 volt. So comparing VCC, VBE is very small, so we can neglect that. So the equation 1 becomes RB is equal to VCC divided by IB. Now look at the equation. We know that VCC is a fixed quantity and IB is a chosen value, suitable value chosen by us. So here this RB is independent of any other transistor parameters. we know that the transistor parameters which are varying inherently are beta and VBE. But in this equation, there is no VBE, and for a particular transistor, beta is fixed. So we can say that RB is a constant. So from the value of VCC and IB, we can find out the value of RB. So here the value of VCC is fixed and IB is a chosen value for our proper biasing. Hence, this method of transistor biasing is also known as fixed bias method. So base resistor method is also known as fixed bias method because VCC is a fixed known quantity and IB is chosen at some suitable value. So this is the circuit analysis of base resistor method. Next, we can find out the stability factor of this base resistor method. We already learned about stability factor. The expression for stability factor is denoted as S. So S is equal to beta plus 1 divided by 1 minus beta into DIB by DIC. So this is the expression for stability factor. In fixed bias method, we can say that IB is independent of IC. So in this method, IB is independent of IC because IB is chosen by us. IB is a suitable value chosen by us. So IB is independent of IC. So we can say that since IB is independent of IC, DIB by DIC, what will be DIB by DIC? It will be 0 because IB is not depending IC. So substitute this in the above equation. We can say that S is equal to beta plus 1 divided by 1. So that is equal to beta plus 1. So we can say that in fixed bias method, stability factor S is equal to beta plus 1. So this means that we know that what is the definition of stability factor. S is equal to DIC by DICO. That means it is the ratio of change in collector current to the change in collector leakage current. So we already discussed about this. The stability factor means that how much variation in collector current will occur when variation occurs in collector leakage current. So here S is equal to beta plus 1. This means that DIC by DICO is equal to beta plus 1. So this means that IC changes beta plus 1 times any change in ICO. That means here DIC is equal to beta plus 1 into DICO. It simply means that if beta value is 100, then beta plus 1 is 101. That means DIC is equal to 101 times DICO. So DIC is equal to 101 times DICO if beta value is 100. So what does this mean? It means that when DICO changes one time, DIC will change 101 times. That means that much variation is occurring in IC, or that means IC increases 101 times faster than ICO. So that means the variation of IC is very fast or very large. So this is not a stable biasing circuit. So since the value of S is high, we can say that this method has poor thermal stability. Since S is large, we can say that this method has poor thermal stability. So this is one of the main disadvantage of base resistor method. The stability or thermal stability is very poor in this method. So let's see the advantages and disadvantages of this method. So the main advantage of this method is that this circuit is a very simple circuit because only one resistance is required in the circuit design. Also, we can set the biasing conditions very easily because we have to put only one power supply, we need only one resistor. So the biasing conditions can be set very easily and the calculations are very simple. Also, there is no loading of source by the biasing circuit since no resistor is employed across base emitter junction. That means in our transistor circuit diagram, here in this case or in this portion there is no resistor. If there is a resistor here, then we have to consider the RB and the input resistance RI in parallel. Then we will have loading effect and some problems will arise. But there is no such issue in a base resistor method. So these all are the advantages of biasing circuit base resistor method. But what are the disadvantages? One of the main disadvantages of this method is poor stabilization. We already see that since stability factor is very high, the stabilization is very poor. So it is because there is no means to stop a self-increase in collector current due to temperature rise. We see that when ICO increase one time, ICO vary much faster than ICO. That means almost 101 times ICO if beta is 100. So we can say that the circuit is not a stabilized circuit, and also if the stability factor is high, there is another issue. That means there are strong chances of thermal runaway. So if the circuit is not stabilized, we already see that three things will happen. First one, temperature will change. Second one, thermal runaway. Third one, inherent variations in transistor parameters. So here, since the stability factor is high, there are chances of thermal runaway. So due to these disadvantages, this method is not much used in transistor circuits. So we have seen the advantages and disadvantages of base resistor method. Now we are moving to problem session. So we are going to discuss some solved problems in your using base resistor method. So let's see the first question. So this is an example problem in the Mehta's text. So here there is a figure shown here. So this figure shows biasing with base resistor method. So we have to determine the collector current IC and collector emitter voltage VCE. So here it is given that we can neglect the base emitter voltage VBE since it is small. So also given that beta is equal to 100. So we have given the value of beta. So let's redraw this equation, this circuit diagram, because here they are using two power supply. So don't get confused. In biasing circuits, they can use either one supply or two supply. So generally in biasing circuits we are using only one supply, but here there are shown two supplies. So how we can indicate this? So just simple as this, we can show the NPN transistor here. Then we can show the input source which is plus 2 volt, and the RB value is 100 kilo ohm. So this is our power supply in the input. Now there is also a power supply in the output. So it is plus 9 volt and the resistance RC is equal to 2 kilo ohm. So here current IC is flowing through this. Here current IB is flowing. So this is our circuit. Here IE is flowing. So this is our base resistance. This is our circuit. So we redraw the circuit. Both these two circuits are equivalent. So what is the question? We have to determine the value of IC and VCE given beta. And there is also another question. If we change the value of RB, we have to find the new Q point. So in the question or in this figure, it is clear that biasing is provided by this battery. So here biasing battery is included in the circuit, which is VBB is equal to 2 volt in the base circuit, and it is separate from the battery used in the output circuit. So there are two different power supplies or biasing batteries used in the circuit. So here applying Kirchhoff's voltage law in the circuit in the loop A, B, E, N, A, we can see the value of RB. So just as in the previous case, let us apply Kirchhoff's voltage law in this loop. So what will be the Kirchhoff's voltage law? Here the voltage source is 2 volt. 2 volt is equal to here IB RB plus VB. But we have given that VB is neglected since it is small. So we can neglect VBE. So the equation is IB RB is equal to 2. So IB is equal to 2 divided by RB. So that is 2 by 100 kilo ohm. So that is 20 microampere. Because kilo ohm is 10 raised to 3. So we can convert this in terms of microampere. So this is 20 microampere. Knowing the value of IB, we can also find IC. IC is equal to beta IB. So that is beta is 50. 50 into 20 microampere, that is 1000 microampere. So 1000 microampere is simply 1 milliampere. So this is the value of IC. Now, so we find out the proper, now we find out the zero signal collector current. Next we have to find VCE. Then only we will get the operating point. So how we will get VCE? We can apply Kirchhoff's law here in the output circuit. So in the output circuit, let's apply Kirchhoff's voltage law. So what will be the source? 9 volt is equal to, here the voltage drop is IC RC plus VCE. So we can see that 9 is equal to IC RC plus VCE. So VCE is equal to 9 minus IC RC, that is equal to 9 minus IC, we have see that it is 1 milliampere into RC is 2 kilo ohm. So milliampere and kilo ohm will get cancelled because milliampere is 10 raised to minus 3 and kilo ohm is 10 raised to 3. So it get cancelled and we will get 7 volt. So this is the first part. So we find out IC and VCE, which is the operating point. So if RB is equal to how much? 2 kilo ohm. The Q point is IC is 1, VC is 7 volt and IC is 1 milliampere. Now in the second case, we are changing the value of RB. Now RB is increased RB is made 50 kilo ohm. So what will happen? We can see that IB is equal to 2 volt divided by, in the initial case, the value of RB is 100 kilo ohm. So now the value of RB gets reduced. It gets half. RB is equal to, it is halved, that is RB is equal to 50 kilo ohm. So it is 50 kilo ohm. So what will happen if the value of RB is decreased 1 by 2 times, then IB will increase 2 times. That means IB gets doubled. So the value of IB is 40 microampere. So in the initial case, IB is equal to 20 microampere, but here IB is equal to 40 microampere. Therefore, IC also get increased 2 times. So IC is equal to beta IB, that is equal to 50 into 40 microampere. So that is equal to 2000 microampere. So that is equal to 2 milliampere. Now we have to find VCE. VCE is equal to 9. From this equation, it is clear that VCE is equal to 9 volt minus ICRC. So 9 minus ICRC, that is equal to 9 minus 2 milliampere into 2 kilo ohm. So that is equal to 9 minus 4, that is 5 volt. So if RB is equal to 50 kilo ohm, Q point is 5 volt, comma 2 milliampere. That means it is clear that if we increase or if we double the value of RB, the base current will get decreased. Now we can see the next problem. There is a figure shown here. It is a silicon transistor with beta value 100. So the current gain is 100 and it is biased by base resistor method. So the resistor method used, biasing circuit, is base resistor method. Now we have to find the DC load line and determine the Q point. Here there is only one value of power supply. VCC is equal to 6 volt. RB is given. RB is equal to 530 kilo ohm and RC is equal to 2 kilo ohm. Now we have to find the DC load line. So we know that, let's remind the DC load line. How we will draw the DC load line? DC load line is drawn on the output characteristic curve, and from the output characteristics we have VCC is equal to VCE plus ICRC. Here also same, this value is VCE and the drop across this is ICRC. So we can see that from this equation, then IC is equal to 0. We have to find the draw the load line. This is the load line. Load line is drawn here. This is the value of VC. This is the value of IC. So to find the value of VCE, let's put IC is equal to 0. Then VCE is equal to VCC. So this point is VCC. Now to find the value of IC, we have to put VCE is equal to 0. So when VCE is equal to 0, what will happen? VCE is equal to 0, then VCC is equal to ICRC, or IC is equal to VCC by RC. So this point is VCC by RC. So here we can find VCE. VCE is equal to VCC is equal to 6 volt. So the value of this is 6 volt. Now IC is equal to 6 by RC is 2 kilo ohm. So that is equal to 3 milliampere. Because 2 into 10 to 3 is going to numerator, it is 10 raised to minus 3, which is milliampere. So plus VCC by RC is 3 milliampere. So we draw the load line. Now we have to determine the operating point. So operating point is, so to find the operating point, we have to go through the Kirchhoff's voltage law in the first loop. So in the first loop, we have VCC is equal to IB RB plus VBE. Here we cannot neglect the value of VBE. VBE value for silicon transistor is 0.7 volt for silicon. So we have to take into account of VBE also. So the value of IB is equal to, so now here RB is given, so we can find IB. So here no signal is applied, so this is a zero signal condition. So IB is the zero signal base current. So IB is equal to VCC minus VBE by RB. So that is equal to 6 minus 0.7 divided by RB is 530 kilo ohm. So that is equal to 10 microampere. So this is the value of IB. Knowing the value of IB, we can find IC, because IC is equal to beta IB. So since IB is a proper zero signal base current, IC is the zero signal collector current. Beta value is 100. So 100 into 10, that is equal to 1000 microampere, that is equal to 1 milliampere. This is the IC value. Now VC is equal to, the collector emitter voltage is equal to VCC minus ICRC. So that is equal to 6 minus 1 milliampere into 2 kilo ohm. So that is equal to 6 minus 2, that is 4 volt. So the Q point in this case is equal to 4 volt, 1 milliampere. Now we have to find out the stability factor. We know that the equation for stability factor in base resistor method is beta plus 1. So here the value of beta is 100. So the stability factor is 101. So this is about this problem. So next question is, a germanium transistor is to be operated at zero signal IC is equal to 1 milliampere. So we have given the zero signal IC value, that is 1 milliampere. VCC is given, VCC is equal to 12 volt. Beta is given, beta is equal to 100. This is a germanium transistor. So we have to take the value of VBE. VBE value is 0.3 volt for germanium. So we have to find RB. The equation of RB, how we can find, don't need to by heart it, just remind the circuit. VCC is equal to IB RB plus VBE, since this is a base resistor method. So from this we get RB is equal to VCC minus VBE by IB. So here VCC is 12 minus 0.3 divided by IB. So we have to find IB. IB is equal to IC. We know that beta is equal to IC by IB. So IB is equal to IC by beta. So IC is 1 milliampere divided by beta is 100. So that is 0.01 milliampere. So IB is 0.01 milliampere. So that is equal to 1170 kilo ohm. So this is the value of RB. Now the second question is, so in the first case, if beta is equal to 100, RB value is 1170 kilo ohm. So in the second case, beta is reduced half of that in the previous case, that is beta is equal to 50. So using the same equation, we can see that RB is equal to No other values changed. So RB is equal to VCC minus VBE by IB by IB. But the question is here, we need not find RB, but we have to find the new value of IC for the same RB. That means in this case, RB is same as in the previous case, but we have to find IB, that is the zero signal base current, and then find, using this beta value, we have to find out the value of zero signal collector current IC. So here we have to find IB and IC. So this is IB is equal to VCC minus VBE by RB. So that is 6 minus 0.3 divided by RB is 1170 kilo ohm. So that is 0.01 milliampere. So IB value is obtained. Then IC is equal to beta IB, that is equal to 100 into 0.01 milliampere. So in this case it is not 100, it is changed, it is 50. 50 into 0.01, that is 0.5 milliampere. So it is, if beta is 50, IC is 0.5 milliampere. If beta is 100, IC is equal to 1 milliampere. So we can see that if the value of beta changed from 100 to 50, that means beta is the transistor parameter. If beta changed from 100 to 50, then IC changes from 1 milliampere to 0.5 milliampere. So note this. So we can see that the base resistor method cannot provide stabilization. If this circuit is properly stabilized, then whenever beta changes, there will not be much change in IC. So, but here if beta changes from 100 to 50, IC value also changes from 1 milliampere to 0.5 milliampere. From this example, it is clear that base resistor is cannot provide proper stabilization. So today we discussed about transistor biasing and methods of transistor biasing. The method we discussed today is base resistor method. So in the base resistor method, we have to find, or we have to design the value of RB by properly choosing IB. So the circuit analysis, from the circuit analysis we obtained the value of RB is equal to VCC minus VB by IB. Since VCC is much larger than VB, or VB is very small, we can neglect VBE. So RB is equal to VCC by IB. Since VCC is fixed and IB is a chosen value, we named this method as fixed bias method. And the stability factor is beta plus 1. So it means that the base resistor method is not properly stabilized, or it have poor stabilization. So next we have discussed the advantages and disadvantages of this method. So the advantage is that the circuit is very simple and we can easily set the biasing condition and there is no much loading in the biasing circuit. But the disadvantage is, the main disadvantage is that it provides poor stabilization, and due to this poor stabilization and due to this temperature increase, there is a chance of thermal runaway. So these are the disadvantages of transistor biasing using base resistor method. Next we discussed some problems, and from the problems it is clear that the base resistor method is providing a poor stabilization.
Hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you for watching. We can see in the next session. Thank you.